So gear up for a 4:40 Eastern Time kickoff today from the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in one of the great cities. It's in my top 5 list for great cities in the United States for many a reason. New Orleans, Louisiana. How about the Big Easy? It won't be easy for the Philadelphia Eagles today. 6th seed in the NFC. Eagles 9-7 taking on the top seed, the 13-3 hometown New Orleans Saints, who had a great season. And you know what? The Cajuns down in New Orleans, it's not Go Saints, your traditional G-O. Instead, it's here, take a look. G-E-A-U-X, right? That's the Cajun way. And you can bet the Who Dat Nation will be alive and well today. Nearly 80,000 fans can squeeze into that Mercedes-Benz Superdome. If you've never been there for a game, I have. It's certainly an experience. Here's a little taste of what it looks like and sounds like to be in the thick of things with that Who Dat Nation. Going to be a wild one today in New Orleans. As for the line, Saints, a comfortable favorite, 8 points. They expect points in this one because the over-under hovering around 52. I just caught it and saw it at 51.5. Weather conditions, it's in the dome. Should be perfect. Short sleeves. Grab yourself a cold one. Go Saints, right? Meanwhile, these two teams played in Week 11. It was all Saints. Drew Brees, we'll talk about him in just a moment. What did he do? What he does best. Threw for touchdown passes. 4 of them, no interceptions. Took out the Eagles and Carson Wentz at the time. Now they're directed by Nick Foles. Talk about Foles in just a moment. And a little teaser at the end. Let's talk about Brees and Foles and high school. I'll get to that in a moment. But these two, when they played, it was the Saints winning 48-7. At the time, the Eagles suffering a hardcore Super Bowl hangover. They were 4-6. What'd they do? They'd rally to get into the postseason party once again. They would wind up winning 5 of their last 6, including last week's big-time win in Chicago over the Bears. What a great game that was. 16-15 at Soldier Field, thanks to St. Nick. You know they love him in Philly, don't they? Certainly do. He threw the game winner, this one right here, as he was able to hook up with Golden Tate with a minute left. How good was he on that final drive? 6-9 for 59 yards. Cool, calm, collective. 4-0 in his last playoff games. 4-1 overall lifetime in the playoffs. 10 touchdowns in those games against 3 interceptions. Now, he's played against the Saints in the postseason. In fact, the Eagles lead the all-time series 17-14. They last squared off in the 2016, or make that 2013 wild card. At the time, it was Brees and the Saints besting Foles and the Eagles. That was Nick Foles, part 1 with the Eagles. This is Nick Foles 2.0. That game, Foles better than Brees. 2 touchdown passes, no interceptions. Brees gets the win. He had 1 TD and 2 picks. Mark Ingram, the star, rushing TD, 97 yards. How good is Ingram? Outstanding. Couple of them with that kid Kamara. Alfred Kamara, what a football player. Make a case for the MVP. Last year and this year, he's fantastic. So you've got those 2 running backs, Ingram the star then. As I mentioned, they played back in Week 11. Saints beat them up. Today, it should get fun in the Dome. Of course, last year, a touchdown St. Nick's run, right? Let's get this one out of the way. The play that won the Super Bowl for the Eagles. The Philly special. Let's look at it again. That's how good it is. What a great play. What a great play. Meanwhile, the Saints last year, they lived through postseason hell. Let's take a look at this one. It's worthy of doing so. This Diggs play, the miracle play in Minnesota. Last play of the game, the Saints knocked out of the divisional round. Of course, the Eagles would take on the Vikings, who folded like a cheap suit the next week in. I haven't used that one in a long time, if ever. I don't know where that came from. But they folded in Philly the next week in the NFC title game. Overall, Sean Payton, the maestro of all maestros, he's been with the Saints same time as Brees came in 2006. All the guy does is win games. 118-74 lifetime as the Saints' coach. 6-0 in his last home playoff games. 7-5 overall. Breeze came to the Saints in 2006, delivered Super Bowl championship, the first and only one in Saints history, against the Colts and Peyton Manning in 2009. How good is Breeze? Rewriting the history books in real time, right? 520 TD passes, 233 interceptions, over 75,000 yards passing. He's completed just about 67% of his passes on attempts in the NFL. So he's fantastic. You got Foles, who makes things happen in the postseason. You got playmakers all over the field. Michael Williams, dynamic wide receiver for the Saints. Alshon Jeffrey, you can never forget him. Or Golden Tate with his heroics last week against the Bears. So at the end of the day, what's there left to do when you've got the 13-3 number one seed in the NFC Saints against those Philly Eagles? As I mentioned, they get into the playoffs by rallying late in the season, scratching, clawing their way there as a 6th seed. They're 9-7. It is time to give you the prediction on who I think is going to win today's ball game in the Big Easy. Can't do it, Who Dat Nation. Can't go against you. Can't root for you either, St. Nick. So in the end, I see the Saints scoring a 2-touchdown victory right around there, 34-21. Too much Saints in this one. Now, by the way, I did some research, right? The Crack Research crew, I gave them the Sunday off, so I was left to my own to do this. I looked it up. There are about 37,000 high schools in the United States of this here America. 2/3 of those are public. And go figure, the two guys in today's game, go figure they're both reigning, or I should say, a former Super Bowl. One of them is a reigning Super Bowl MVP. Breeze won the Super Bowl MVP in his win, as I mentioned, in 2009. Both of them hail from the same high school in Texas, Westlake High School. Pretty amazing stuff. So win, lose, or draw today, Westlake High School comes out victorious because they've got a quarterback with skin in the game on both sides. It should be an interesting game today. But I think in the end, way too much Saints. I think the Who Dat Nation gets the victory. Hey, grab yourself a hurricane and enjoy the football today from New Orleans.